So welcome back. This is the last video in our little series, and so I wanted to just go back over that whole overview that I've given you around the self-management system. And as I've said, there is actually another training that you can do after this. If this is of interest to you and you really want to help to understand yourself a bit more, there's actually it's a kind of 2-hour training that I did. You'll be able to actually purchase within the app. So there's a little bit of an upgrade there if you want to do that program. So you can have a look at it in more detail, but what I just want to kind of bring you back to is we've talked about our emotional parts, our child parts, our protector parts, knowing that we have at least 3 of each, and that we have some that take us down into our numbing parts, and for most people there's at least 3 addictions, there's probably more, and then we also have our 3 rational parts. And the idea that we want to try and get to the point where we really clearly understand ourselves is so that we can reach that point where we can manage this system. And over time, what I see happen all the time is that as we get more aware, as we do more to keep ourselves in that rational space of moving forward, that sort of diamond where we were spending a lot of time in numbing avoidance space starts to really flatten out more like a triangle, and we're more focused on, moving ourselves forward and being more rational about the approach that we take to our lives. And also what happens as we do that is we spend less time being triggered emotionally. So you spend less time feeling scared or angry. You spend much less time second guessing yourself. When you really understand your self-management system, things like what we commonly call imposter syndrome completely go away, because it's not really an imposter, it's a part of yourself. It's a part of yourself that you've developed and created for a particular purpose in your life, and it's a part of you, and when we recognize that connection and we stop judging it, then it eliminates this feeling of being an imposter. It's just one of those things that we recognize is the ability that we have to do a particular thing, and there's a part of us that's very good at doing it, right? But it's usually the critic or the protector part that's being very critical, that if that part of you is being successful, that there must be something wrong. And that's actually where that sense of imposter syndrome develops from. So I will also be creating a program that's specifically around imposter syndrome. But for now, the thing I want you to have a look at is how you unpack the self-management system. And so if you're interested in doing that next bit of training, you're able to purchase it within the app, and it's a good couple of hours of me helping you to really unpack the self-management system in a very detailed way. And that will help you a lot to learn to use that language, because we give them names, we understand, how they help us when we do certain things and when we're reacting to certain things in particular ways. And it really starts to help you recognize your own system. Now, the self-recognition and the self-awareness that comes from this process is something that, I can't state enough is essential to you being able to manage your own mental health and your own mindset going forward, because it really helps you to stop having that internal conflict all the time. So most people spend their life with this internal kind of conflict going on, and one part has usually learned to, dominate over the top of the other parts of our system. And at different points in your life, sometimes one part tends to dominate, and it's not always a good part, right? They tend to dominate the whole system for a period, and that's where I talk about mental health. You'll get into a negative sort of thinking space because a part of you that's not a positive part has managed to kind of, take control of the system. And I talk about it like, you're driving the car that is your life, and you want to be consciously aware of the part of you that is behind the driver's wheel, right? The one that's in the driver's seat of your life. But recognize that all the other parts are in the car with you. Some people it's just a car, some people it's a minivan, right? But I want you to just recognize that the choice of who gets to drive the van today is something that you can consciously do by using language to call that part in. So you need your worker, you need your focused part, you need your socialite, whatever it is. I'm going to be the worker today, and then the worker gets to be in the driver's seat of your life. Okay? And just remember, the whole point of somebody like me is I'm the driving instructor. Okay? I'm not your chauffeur. And that's actually the bit that I want to get through to people about what a therapist does. A lot of people, feel like a therapist is their chauffeur. They just hand over all of their power to the therapist. No, a good therapist is actually just your driving instructor, helping you to learn how to drive and manage your own life. Okay, I hope that was really helpful. And if you found it useful, please share the link with all of your friends and give them an opportunity to go through the same experience that you have. I hope that you find this little course really useful, and I will also see you soon.